Welcome into the hidden features of SorareData video. I am Andrew Laird. You can find me as Lairdino on Sorare. We have gotten like a bunch of kind of questions lately about certain tools that we have on the site or suggestions of features that would be good to add. And a lot of the ones that come up to us are ones that are already on the site. And I think one of the fun things about SorareData is how many new things we are able to come out with seemingly all the time, but it also kind of makes certain new features hidden because we don't necessarily announce everything that we change, and some things we may just adjust that turn into new tools and whatnot. So the point of this video is to kind of go through certain parts of the site that people either don't use enough, don't use correctly, don't even know that they exist. And so this is probably like part one of a infinite series of things that we can talk about that's on SorareData. So if you are watching this live and you have any questions of something that I'm going through or how to do something specific, feel free to just leave a question in the chat and I'll try to handle those. I'll be honest, I've done like hundreds of streams and podcasts in my life as part of my job. And I think this is the first time I've ever done one by myself. I can't think of another one. So we'll see what happens there. So anyway, so jumping in, Andy is already asking for some new features. There was one that came out today. I did see a few people were tweeting about it. So obviously some people found it. I think Maxime may have also spilled it, but for what we'll kick off at least with that one. And the easiest way to find it is looking at kind of a popular player. And it seems like the most popular one that comes out of this is Carlos Heel. And so we'll jump right into him. So if you notice kind of the tabs on the top, or excuse me, in the middle are a little different. We now have combined auctions and offers. And we had a lot of requests because from the last auction page, when limiteds started, we just, you had to like scroll through all of these lists of limiteds if you wanted to see like what the recent super rare auctions were or the rare ones. We've now combined all of it into one along with the secondary with some scarcity filters kind of built right in. And so it defaults to rare. Maybe it's my own default actually, but on this specific tab, you can now see all of the cards that are listed on the secondary market. So right now there are 4 Carlos Heel cards available, and then you can see all the completed transactions below it. And one of the big changes that this page includes now is trades. And so previously when you used the SorareData offers page, it would show you the cards that were on the market and then the ones that sold in the secondary. And the thing that was missing in there was trades. And so whether it was like a multi-card transaction for one card, we see that with, people who trade with Pavel Trader a lot, it's like a ton of cards for one. And those were missing basically from the offers, from the completed offers tab. So those are all here now. As you can see, like we have a number of different ones and it'll tell you whether it was a secondary market offer, an auction, and then we see a trade here. And all you have to do is hit the details and you can click right through to see what that trade was. So we see a Christian Thor's fight and 1.8 ETH for this Carlos Heel rare. And so basically we see all of these transactions now in a single tab that allows you to see kind of where the market is. And obviously the price graphs continue and, you can see where all the transactions are. We kind of teased this or announced it on Twitter recently, but you can now just scroll on like highlight a specific section. And so like if you just wanted to see this from like August 30th to, we'll call it December 9th, all you have to do is just click and drag and it'll automatically zoom in to that time frame in order so you can see the transactions. But again, like anything you see in here will also be in this auctions and offers tab, which again is available for all scarcities, and you can just track where everything is gone. here's a nice Pavel trade that somebody did 4 hours ago to get a Carlos heel. And so it just allows you to get more detail into the transactions that are happening, because there were times where we saw, if somebody has a minimum offer on one of their cards. So let's say like they don't want any offers below 2 ETH. There was kind of a way around that by offering like a card and then you can put ETH on top of it. And in those situations, like we wouldn't necessarily see the price that somebody paid for the card. If you saw like a Carlos Heel rare card go for, 2 ETH, but if there was like a basically worthless limited card within the transaction, it wouldn't show up on our previous offers page. So this at least allows us to show all of the transactions in one place so that you can get a better idea of like where the market is, or like what trades people have done in order to get certain cards. And so kind of sticking with the marketplace stuff, because we've done like a lot of work trying to make the secondary market or even the auctions like a little easier. And I'm going to start with the auctions. And one thing that I find a lot of people don't necessarily take advantage of is the live auctions page, which if you just go to market on the top and then live auctions, these are all the live auctions that are on Sorare right now. And so, we have all the information. You may be familiar with it. I'm going to actually change the scarcity quickly to rare, because the limited auctions go so fast that I'll end up losing what I'm talking about. But so everything that you're kind of accustomed to on other pages, we have here. So if you see like this is the current price, the middle big price is the price that the card is currently, that's the high bid right now. And then you can see what the 2-week average is and then the floor price. And so all three of those bits of data are also clickable that give you more information, which not many people know. And so if you click like the 2-week average on this Moises card, I don't even know who that is. So let me see if we can find, here we go. Moses Simon, I know him. So his 1-week average is 0.192. If you click on that, it'll give you the price graph that we saw on the player page. And you'll be able, basically everything here will show you kind of like where the previous transactions were, and then you can change the time frame, you can change your scarcity, you can go see your SO5 scores, and this is all just done on a modal over the live auctions page. So you just click out and you're back to the live auctions. So additionally, we see the floor price, and if you click the floor price, you'll be able to see all of the other cards that are currently on the market. And so it's one thing to know like, oh, if there's, if there's a card that's like close to the floor price, and maybe whoever's like close to the floor price may come down below whoever the cheapest is, but this gives you kind of a better view of exactly what's going on in the market. So we have all of those, and obviously this upcoming auction, which is the one that we clicked on. So just being able to click through all of this and get this data directly from this live auctions page. And then finally, there were some people who I've gotten feedback from, and they were like, I don't really love using the live auctions page because I can't like put the bids in on SorareData. And while that is true, if you just click the price on like right under the card, the big one, the single click takes you directly to the auction on Sorare. So you can just click your bid in right after that. And so it's just like a fast, easy way to like get your research done, to figure out where the market is. And then if you want to put your bid in, you can put your bid in. So another thing that where this information is if you go to a specific manager's page. And so you'll be able to see all of the cards that people have on the market. So I didn't necessarily want to like go to somebody specific. Happen to know this gallery or this manager is somebody who buys galleries. So they usually have cards for sale. So it was an easy one. But if you hit this on sale tab on their gallery page, and again, this is available on any gallery page, you can see all of the cards that this manager has on the secondary market, like for sale, with the same information that we just saw in terms of what the price is for this card, for the card they're selling, the recent average, as well as the floor price. And so it can kind of give you an idea if the seller is comparable to the floor prices, or they're way off, or it just gives you an idea of where they are. And so again, it allows you to be able to see the other cards that are on the market. So if like this one, so for this Salah card, if you go on their for sale tab, you'll see that they're selling for 3.5 ETH, but the floor is 2.8. So if you just click that floor price, you can just easily click over and see who that where that 2.8 card is. And we can see here it's Tinta selling this card. And then obviously on this page gives you all the background on the card, when they got it, all the previous owners of the card. And then over here, it's the last 5 sales. So we know that one a Salah rare card sold yesterday for 2.5 ETH. And that was pretty much the only one that's happened in the last 2 weeks. Obviously, those cards aren't all that liquid because the Liverpool cards aren't being minted anymore. But it's just more like quick information to help you make a better purchasing decision. So that's that as well. So those types of pages, or that type of information is also available on the live offers page. And what a lot of people like to do is kind of use the different filters to narrow down their searches. So we obviously know that you can choose your different scarcities if you want, limited rare, super rare, whatever it is. Position, you can pick specific leagues, so you can do either a specific domestic league or an SO5 league, Champion Europe, Challenger Europe, or you can just do La Liga. And then you can do a specific club. There's a video, I believe, on YouTube. There's a how to use SorareData section or playlist on the SorareData YouTube page. So that can walk you through all of this. But one of the things that we don't see that many people using is that you can save your presets. And so, like for me, I've been trying to look for more MLS goalies for the summer. And as brutal as it is, like looking for goalies, all I had to do was create my own preset, my own filter preset. And so it's just like one click and you have all your guys. So I can actually just, let me just clear it so that I can show you guys quickly how to set these up, because they are very simple. So like, let's say you're looking for, we'll just go through like super rare defenders for Challenger Europe for the upcoming season. And I mean, you can put in an age filter. We could do just U23s. And then I say this now. Yeah, I basically have this one already done. But so this is at least the list of all of the current cards that are on the market of Challenger Europe U23 defenders in super rare. And so all you have to do is put that filter in, hit save preset. That was my last one. So you can just say Challenger U23 super rares, save your preset. And this is actually applies to the live auctions page as well. So if you go over there, you'll see the preset there, and we'll see that there are currently 5 cards on the auction market that qualify under these certain filters. And so it's just like a really easy way to quickly get to the searches that you want, because there's just so many cards on the market and there are so many sellers that finding exactly what you want is, we try to make it as easy as possible, but there are steps, like depending on how specific your search is. So instead of having to put all of those things in every single time you come back to the page, you can just save your preset, Challenger U23 super rares, and there you go. We have the filter should have a percentage of games played. We do have playing status, which is based on percentage of games played like that, but I do think that's a reasonable request. We do have the L5, L15, L40 scores. I tend to use that more often. Like, even if I just want somebody who's like been playing, you can just like simply move the SO5 to just like anything above 0. And that'll at least help you get guys who have been playing. And again, like it's the same information as before. Like The last public sale for this Plentex card was 0.32. This one seems to be priced a little aggressively at 4.7 ETH, but the floor is 0.499. So you can see those are the two cards that are available on the market if that's kind of a player that you're interested in looking for. So I think that's all I had from the market stuff that like I think a lot of people overlook. I'll actually point out something else while I'm here. So I don't know if a lot of people notice this, and I'll be honest, I don't even remember like what we set the default in, but the background behind these cards can be changed. And so if you notice, and it kind of applies to the different scarcities, like there's this little yellow background behind the cards, behind the limited cards, and there's the blue one behind and red behind the rares. If you go to your profile, which is just like click on your manager name in the top right and hit profile, there are two different options. To pull behind the curtain a little bit, we couldn't decide which one we liked better, we meaning SorareData, and so we decided to just offer both and allow you to choose. So it doesn't change your searches at all. It literally just changed the look, but now you'll notice that there's like a white background there. Just something that you can do. I happen to like the colors behind it, so I keep mine in that style. But anyone, whatever you guys prefer, you can use. So that's probably all I have for the market tab. If anybody has any questions, I can certainly go back to that or discuss something else. So the other thing that a lot of people have been finding, and I'll admit, I think we hide it a little bit, certainly not on purpose, but we have Opta Stats. You know this because you check all the SO5 scores. Those are fed by Opta, and we have all the Opta Stats on SorareData. But where you find them, it can be a little difficult. So if you happen to be on a player page, I'm going to click on Franco Armani here from River Plate, who is currently bad with COVID for anybody who actually has them. But anyway, so if you're looking for River Plate stats, like team stats, you can just go to the player, any player on River Plate, and we just have the team name and the competition that they play in. If you click on the team name, so you just click River Plate, this is what brings you to our team stats page. And it has a ton of different stuff in it, including just like the top scores, all around averages. I mean, you guys can see this, so I don't have to read them all out. We have the table as well. Argentina uses like a split table, which is why you see like 2 1s and 2 2s. But it gives you all of this information. We've got corner takers, free kicks, and whatnot. If you really want to dive in to the stats, you just click this stats button, and this will give you a breakdown. We have through their last 5, last 15, and last 40. And it's just like all of the stats that are relevant to Sorare. And every column is sortable. So we see Enzo Fernandez just continues to crush 9 goals in his last 15 games, which is just nuts, along with 3 assists. And you can just scroll through, and my gosh, Enzo's even won 19 tackles. This guy's just a beast. Anyway, so all of the stats are here. So again, it's just if you go to any player page, click their name, click the team name, and you can see all the team stats. So we also have the full roster of players who are on here, in case you want to look for a backup goalie or who the other players are, along with the information in their cards, 3-day averages, and floor prices for all the scarcities, L15, L5, L15, L40. It's all here on this page for the entire team and for whoever you want. So the formations one is also one that I think a lot of people don't necessarily know is here. So this is it defaults to the most recent match. River Plate played Tigre, lost 2-1, dominated the game, still lost. But to the right of it is a list of all of their other games, their previous ones. And if you just hit this little eye icon, it will update the formation to that match. And so you can see, where certain people played. You can see the actual formation that they used kind of under the date. So here they played a 3-5-1-1. These are all based on Opta, on positions during the match, and then Opta kind of decides what the formations were. So we see in the match before, they played a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 before that, 4-1-4-1. I mean, River's like all over the place, even though most of the players are kind of standard. And then we also obviously include whether it's a basic league match or Libertadores or anything else that they may play that's covered. And so that's all available right here. And then you can actually see exactly how many times they played each formation. And if you just wanted to see like who played when they played this 4-2-2-2, like it'll take those 2 games and just filter them out so that you can check those out. So if you also want to see stats from the domestic league itself and not just from River Plate, you can click either one. So these are the 2 competitions that they compete in. So if you just want all of the stats from the domestic Argentinian league, it's all here. So it's not just the River Plate. Again, it's like all of the players that are in the league, and then you can obviously tell which ones have been minted. So we have the overview, which is kind of similar to what you saw on the team page, and then obviously the stats that are similar to those team stats, but this is the entire league. And again, it's last 5, 15, excuse me, and 40 game weeks. So really the idea is that all of the stats that you would want are here, and you can kind of narrow them down to make it a little easier to, excuse me, to find. You can do a specific position, only players with Sorare cards. I mean, there's a lot of different filters that you can use as part of your research. And again, it's just the ability to find this stuff is the easiest way is the player page. And then you can click the league and you'll get, for example, all of the MLS stats if you want by clicking on the Carlos Heel page. So I think that's everything with the stats. There's only like a few more things I wanted to go over. So again, if anybody has any questions, but I didn't expect this to be overly long because I'm hoping not all of these things are super hidden. But one of the other kind of cool things that we added recently is if you go to your gallery, and a lot of people were used to seeing their SO5 stats, and this is where you can see like all of the cards that you won. We recently added the ability to see what the tier was of the card that you won. So, I have this Nohu Tolo. I finished 344th in Champion America Limited last game week, which got me a tier 3 prize. That was the prize that I won. And then this is all, you can filter out by scarcity. You can see kind of all the rare cards and all the super rares, obviously, tier 3 super rares. I'm just crushing it. And then you can highlight just your kept players, so you can see like easily see which ones you've sold. And then, you have your basic SO5 stats. We do not have a hide gallery value button yet, no, but we have heard some scattered requests for that. So that may be something we'll add in. I will also note that something on this manager page is if you go to anybody else's manager page, you can actually use the lineup builder to build their lineups. So I don't think it's something that like everybody is going to use, but it is possible. And so I saw Zarky here in chat, so I'm just going to use his as an example. So I can go to his manager page and go right to the lineup builder and build all of his lineups. Obviously, he needs way more limited cards in order to do that. But if I wanted to, if you're trying to help somebody out that they're kind of like, I don't know how to build my lineups this week, you can, instead of them telling you all of the cards they have and whatnot, you can actually go to the lineup builder itself and just start putting in a bunch of players. Yes, Zarky, beautiful gallery here. So you can just play around. And I don't know if everybody, excuse me, has seen this. Obviously, we need Carlos Heel here. Let me put in a team quickly. Boy, these are fun cards, Zarky. You must have fun playing so rare. Let's see. We'll get another super rare in. Oh, Osmar, of course. So if you do this, you can also see how this team has performed in the past few game weeks. And so, that doesn't, what happened in previous game weeks doesn't guarantee what's going to happen in future game weeks, but it at least gives you an idea of how competitive it's been over a certain time frame. And further down, this is available again to anybody who uses the lineup builder. You can see how many possible lineups there are. The possible lineups are it's significantly higher than what we'll see, because particularly with All-Star, any lineup that goes into a region can be played in All-Star. So we don't see, it says 11,000 possible full lineups for All-Star Rare Pro. So that's basically 11,022 like possible lineup combinations that could fit in All-Star Rare Pro. But we see, about, I think it's about 20% of that will actually go into All-Star Rare Pro, and some people will use their cards in Challenger, Champion Europe, America, Asia, wherever. And then the prize pool, we show how many prizes there are for this upcoming game week. And then you'll be able to see kind of what the average score it took to get a podium, or the range that it, to win a tier 0 and whatnot. So those are all available to help you make kind of your better lineup choices. Zarky said it might be easier to see the difference between tiers with different colors. I think that's a decent request. You just mean like the tier 1, tier 2, and or they don't have tier 0, tier 1, and tier 2 should be different colors there, Zarky. I get that. I think that's something that we could probably do. This is kind of similar to what we have on the concepts tab, which I'm going to go to next, because that has some information that we kind of share after each game week, the minimum points required for rewards. That's actually information that's in the concepts tool. And so, instead of waiting for us to come out with like the update, you can actually see that stuff yourself. So again, that's the lineup builder for other people's galleries. And then obviously, like I said, if you hit on sale, you can see all of the cards that they have. I'll use my own gallery for this next one, but we have this transactions tab that allows you to see all the transactions that somebody has made all the way back to when they started. And so again, this is available to anyone who, any gallery owner. So it would be nice to see the average points needed showed weekend and midweek. So you can kind of see this. So I don't necessarily think averages are the best way to look at like how many points you need, particularly because the difference between midweeks and weekend game weeks can sometimes be drastic. The problem is that there's just a lot of noise with averages. So like there could be a time like the K-League was off for like a month recently for Asian Champions League. And so like scores for Asia kind of dipped a little bit, but that doesn't mean that like it got easier to win if there just weren't as many cards. And so what I like to do is use this concepts tool, and it'll show you exactly how many points have been needed recently. So if you just go to global U23, and you don't even really need to fill out an entire team. I'll just use Diogo Costa here just to get one player in. But this is pretty much all of the game weeks through back to 246. And you can go even further back. I mean, you can do 6 months, year to date, 1 year, or just everything. But effectively what this tells you is, and Zarky, these are also the same colors. But I mean, we know that tier 0 require more points than 1, 2, and 3, but it'll give you kind of that clear idea. So like this line down here is 400. We know you need about 420 last week to win a tier 0, 375. And, you can just look at the numbers there, but like, this is almost exactly the same as what we put out after the game week of like how many points it took to win certain cards. And it's all here on concepts. And so this is available for any region. And so like if you wanted to do Champion Europe super rare, as I break it here, where did that go? Let me stick to Rare Pro then. So Champion Europe Rare Pro, and we put in Messi because he's always fun. For 10, we have the super rare. But I mean, you'll see that the scores to win in Champion Europe Super Rare are high, but like we know that's high. Champion Europe is always the highest, scoring, or usually the highest scoring. So I mean, you'll see that like under 400, and it's really tough to get a card in Champion Europe Super Rare. And then this, obviously, if you put in 5 players here, you'll be able to see exactly how they scored week to week. But a lot of people have just been like asking, like, what are the minimum points required for whatever competition you're most interested in. That information is available in the concepts tool, and so I highly recommend checking that out. And you can obviously put in your cards in there to see how they would do. That's kind of the most fun. Or cards you don't have yet, cards you're thinking of buying, and you could see like how they would have scored had you had them. I did that recently and realized if I had bought cards a month ago and played them, I would have had like 3 podiums, and now everybody's hurt. But that's another podcast or another stream for another time. So I think those were all the things that I wanted to get through today. There's one more that I'm going to show everyone. That is a page that's not linked on the site, but it's probably going to be interesting to have. I don't know if we're redoing this page. I probably shouldn't be talking about it, but this one is like actually hidden, and so that's why I'm sharing it. But we have something called players moves. So it's SorareData.com/players-moves, and this is all of the players whose team designations have changed. And so you can obviously realize that these will be much more valuable during the transfer window. And so like when players are playing, but it's just a long list of transfers, and it kind of allows you to keep up to date on your own players or ones that you're looking for. So obviously Chris Mueller just came back to MLS. He's here, and these are all MLS had a transfer window in April, and so that's why we see a lot of MLS guys here. But you can just keep scrolling, and we have the Giassi's artist trade, and you can just go back and see kind of what the players are, and you can also change it so it's just players in your gallery. So again, this one's hidden, so you might want to write the address down there, but feel free to check that out. That's the actual hidden one of SorareData. Hopefully you guys were familiar with the other tools, but just didn't know how much they did, or if you didn't know them, hopefully you guys have seen them now. Like I said, we'll probably be having to do this regularly because of how many new features we're coming out with. But also, if you guys have any questions of certain tools that we don't have, or suggestions for something that you think would be a good addition to the site, I will say that we're working on a lot of things right now, and so it's possible that whatever you're thinking of is already in our pipeline, but suggestions are always helpful. So feel free to contact me either on Discord. I'm at Andrew M. Laird. There's obviously some number behind that, but let me see here. 8659, or you can get me on Twitter at Andrew M. Laird. And just, happy to have any suggestions thrown our way, so that, our goal is to build the site to make it as helpful as possible for you. So thank you to everybody who has joined, and I guess feel free to reach out, and good luck out there.